This is a lecture from Open Tuition. To benefit from the lecture, you should download the free lecture notes from opentuition.com.
I want to talk here a little bit about exam technique, because capital gains tax will come up in every exam that you ever do as far as tax is concerned, because individuals pay it. So it could come up in an individual position. Companies pay it, and therefore it could come up as capital gains within a company, but it could also come up within the corporation tax situation. So it is important that this is one of the major taxes that you can do really well. So it says, in attempting Section A or B questions on calculations of CGT, it's even more important to ensure that you've properly read and understood the information provided in the question. So, does it give you the figure for the taxable gains, which is after deducting any losses or annual exemption? Or does it tell you what the gains are and you've got to work it out? Read the question carefully. Does the question give you the taxable income of the taxpayer for the year, or you're simply provided with income figures that require you then to deduct the personal allowance in order to work out the taxable income? Again, read the question carefully and show all your workings. As I've said before, you don't always get marks for the answer. This is about, do you know the rules for capital gains, income tax, inheritance tax, VAT? Do you know what the rule is? Can you state the rule? Do you also then apply it correctly to the question? Show all the workings. That's what they're after. Now it says there, read the requirement of the question to make sure you're actually answering what they want, not what you want. So you may think, well, I know all about this and I know all about this, so I'm going to write it down. That's not going to get you any marks. You must answer what they want you to answer. Okay. Does it ask you to calculate the CGT liability of the taxpayer? Or does it ask you to work out the gains? Just the gains. Now, while it may ask you for that, and you actually go and work out the liability, you're not going to get any marks for doing that because they didn't ask you for it. But it wastes time, and you're going to need time to be able to answer the whole exam. So please just read it carefully. Then, does it ask you to work out the taxable gains or simply the chargeable gains? Okay. Do not rush into calculations before you've properly understood the requirements and the information in the question. Okay. Stop. Think. Then write. Okay. Oh, I should put read, shouldn't I, at the beginning? Read. Read it carefully. Stop, think, then write. Now, we've got several examples here. Example 3, 4, 5 and 6. So I'm going to do some more. So we've got to see what's going on here. Matthew has trade profits of 20,000 assessed. Okay, so that's just his profits. Okay, which means we need to now deduct his personal allowance in order to work out his taxable income. Read the question carefully. And he sold a vase which gave a gain. Somebody's done that for you. They've worked out proceeds less costs, and they've given you the gain figure. All you've got to work out is his tax based on how much basic rate band he's got left. Okay, so shall we have a look at that, how that works? So we've got here a gain from the question of 18,300. So this is example number 3. Then we also can deduct from that the annual exempt amount, which is 12,300, which leaves us with taxable gains of 6,000. Now, at what rate will they pay tax? So let's do a bit of working. So the question, the IT position, which is in the working, again clearly show he got trade profits, hadn't he? 20,000. Let's deduct the personal allowance. Which gives us that. So the basic rate band figure, never guess these figures, always check. 37,700. He's used 7,430 of that, which leaves £30,270. So that 6,000 will therefore only be taxed at 10%, which is £600, which is due on the 31st of January 24. So you get half for that, one for that, half for that, half for that. Here you get half for that, and this here another half, maybe one. 1, 2, 3, 4 marks. But marks for all the various different processes that you have been through. Okay, let's have a look then at example number 4. Katie has trade profits of 41,000, same situation. In addition, she sold an investment property, gave rise to a gain of that. So that's been done. That's got to have the personal allowance deducted. Okay, so let's have a look at how that looks in our answer situation. So the capital gains, so this is the gains that has been worked out, copied from the question, the gain, less the annual exemption, gives you the figure, and then stop. Go and work out how much basic rate band she's got left. So you've got the trade profits from the question, less the personal allowance, which you will have checked from the rates, giving us 28,430. You don't have to work the income tax. That's not the income tax out now. That's not what you're doing this for. You're doing this to work out how much basic rate band there is left to be used against the capital gains to work out what the rates are. Again, show the working. £9,270 of any capital gain can be taxed at basic rate. So that then, see that there? So the first 9,270, because she's still a basic rate taxpayer, will only be taxed at that, which is the basic rate rate. The balance of the gain is then taxed at high rate, 20%. Add the two together and work out, that should be there. When is it due? Always write down when it's due. You get half a mark extra for that one. Let's look at example number 5. Elliot has trade profits of 45,270. Okay. He sold a painting that gave rise to a capital gain of 26,300. Now this is new. If you've done the income tax chapters, you'll know what to do with that. Okay. So what I'd like you to do now is just to pause my lecture just for a couple of minutes and have a go at setting up the pro forma and have a go at working out how much basic rate band there is left, given the fact that there's a gift aid payment. Okay, there is a gift aid payment. Now, I'll give you a hint with the gift aid payment. That's what was paid Therefore, it is the net figure. You'll need to gross it up by 100 over 80. Okay, so can you pause your recording now and have a go at that? And here's the example, here's the answer. Okay, so we will have set up the gain from the question, less the annual exemption from the rates. Here at this point, we will stop and we will work out how much basic rate band there is. Now, did you get this right when you did it yourself? I do hope you did pause it and you did it yourself. The basic rate band is extended by the gross gift aid payment. So that's our basic rate band, which is in the rates. That's the payment that was made, which was the net, which was in the question, and that's how you gross it up. So the basic rate band is now £40,700, and we've used £32,700, giving us a balance of 8. That 8 means that 8,000 of the gain is at 10%, with the balance at 20%, which is high rate. Work out the maths, and that's due on the 31st of January 2024. You're getting the figures, working out how this works now? Let's do the last one. Gainer, trade profits of 21,770. She sold 2 assets in the year, a residential investment property giving rise to a gain of 30,300 and a diamond ring yielding a gain of 12,000. Now, we're going to put several rules together here. Several rules together. This is a residential property. Therefore, that's going to be taxed at 18 and 28%. Whereas the ring is going to be taxed at 10 and 20%. Okay. Now, we also need to work out how much of her basic rate band she's got left. Same process as before. So let's have a go at this. We're going to do this one together because I want to show you how it works. So we're going to have 2 headings because these 2 are taxed at different rates. And I said to you, if that's the case, you'll need 2 headings. So the gains, these are from the question. 30,300 on the property and 12,000 on the ring. Now, the property is taxed at 18 and 28%. So the annual exempt amount needs to come off here because that's the one that pays tax at the highest rate. So you'll get relief at the highest rate if that is the case. Always put it against the one that you pay tax, the most tax on. Okay, that's the capital gains position. Okay, so just make a little note for yourself. That's 18 and 28. This is 10 and 20. So that you know that. Okay. So what we need to do now is to work out her income tax position. So we know how much basic rate there is left. So let me show you the answer of how that works. We've done up to there. Okay, let's have a look. There's the note about the annual exemption, which I've just explained. Note 2. The taxable income for gainer is 21,000. That's come from the question. That's come from the rates, which gives us 9,200. So she's got 28,500 basic rate band left. So the gain of 18 on the residential property falls entirely within that basic rate band and will be taxed at 18%. Always tax you have to tax the highest one first because the revenue want as much money as possible. This leaves 10,500 remaining basic rate band to apply against the gain on the diamond ring. Once you've deducted any losses or AEA from the gains suffering CGT at the highest rates and computed the resulting gains, it will not then matter whether as above, you firstly tax the gain on the residential property or whether you tax the gain on the ring. Okay, so this is how we've got the answer. The first 18,000 was at 18%, so that's basic rate. Then this was also basic rate, 10,000 at 10%, and then the high rate is on the ring.